Hello, poem coaxers, and welcome back. This is the final visit of Coaxing Poems, visit 10, which we will call Love Those Words. Now, we've been talking all throughout these visits about everything from pattern and rhyme and a meter and how we find ideas inside and outside of us and line breaks and white space and metaphor and all of these poetic things. And I wanted to close with just thinking about words one by one, and to offer you a couple of ideas of things you might do to play with and collect words and use those words and amplify the words you love most in what you write. Because the amazing part is, we all have access to the same words. The more we read, the more words we learn, and the more we write, the more we get used to using words in different ways. And we can use words in the usual ways that we hear, and also in playful ways and in unusual ways. And we can even invent words and put words together in ways that are unexpected. So, one tip that I have for you is to just collect words. And all that means is that you have a place where you make a list of words that you like for any reason. So, if someone's talking to you or you're reading and you hear a word and think, oh, that's a good one, I want to write it down, you can just jot it right in your notebook. So, I'll read you a few from this one list. I have porcelain, bittersweet, rosemary, dwindle, bonfire, wisdom, seal, folklore, fluffy, wink, shell, darkening, wonder. These are just some words that I like. And I could, on any given day, pick a couple of words from this list and use, or even one, and use that word or words to get me started with a new poem. I can see here, one day I wrote, The Whispering Hippo, which must have come from hippo and whisper. And I got thinking about a hippo that was whispering. So, words can, one thing they can do is they can give us ideas. Another thing when we use words we want to think about is not using words in the ways that everybody uses them. So if I am writing a poem and the poem is about grass, or the poem is about the color green, and I'm trying to describe someone's sweater and the sweater is green, what I won't do, what I'll revise if I do it, if I write the sweater was as green as grass, I'll think, oh, I want to come up with something else because so many people say as green as grass. We've read as green as grass over and over and over, or quiet as a mouse. These cliches or phrases that are used and used and used again, those I tend to revise out of my writing if I find them and notice them. Another thing we can do is we can take a word and we can make it more specific. So, a teacher once, I wish I could remember your name, teacher, but whoever you are, this was so smart. She said to me, I like to teach my students how to raise a word to the second power. So, let's say that you wrote the word shoes in your poem or your story. Then you say to yourself, maybe you reread and underline some nouns or words, nouns and verbs, and say, shoes. How can I make that more specific? Well, first power, sneakers. So now shoes become sneakers, and a reader can automatically see that more clearly in their minds. Now I want to raise it to another power. It's not shoes, it's not sneakers, it's Converse, right? So I'm now saying red high top Converse. So I'm taking a less specific word like shoes, making it more specific sneakers, and then making it ever more specific with red high top Converse. So that's something that you can do. You can take your writing and up that. And once we do this, once we get used to paying attention to words and their qualities and their sound, then what happens is we automatically become more sensitive with our use. But as with everything in life, the more we do with practice, then the more those things come easily, naturally. So I have a poem for today, and this is not a rhyming poem, and it's based on something I saw on a walk. And you can see there are lots of crossouts as always here. It doesn't yet have a title, but it will. And here we go. So, the pudgy orange lollipop car naps near its cobalt blue garage, and everyone who zip zoops by, in car, on bike, or foot by foot, giggles with color happy eyes. Now, this did say the pudgy or orange sunset car. I could have just written the orange punch buggy. I could have written I had like sits near the garage or rests near the garage or is parked by the garage, but I changed it to naps because I thought that seemed a little more like a car napping was kind of a cool, cute image. And I had in everyone who passes by or everyone who drives by, and I bumped that up to everyone who zip zoops by. And eyes giggle with their color happy eyes. Color happy, I hyphenated that. And that's not a usual hyphenated word, but I kind of made that. And giggling with eyes is sort of fun. We hear of laughing with eyes or smiling with eyes. And I thought I'd play around with that and use the word giggling, giggles with color happy eyes. So let me read this again to you. The pudgy orange lollipop car naps near its cobalt blue garage, and everyone who zip zoops by in car, on bike, or foot by foot giggles with color happy eyes. So I have some color happy eyes when I walk around and look at things and look at colors and listen to sounds on the same walk. I was listening to my feet sort of shuffling through the dirt on the side of the road and paying attention to the sound of that and the word I might use if I was writing about shuffling, right? Pitter patter. That's too often. What might I change that to, right? I don't know. I'm going to play with that. The sound of my feet walking. I also love the sound of kicking a rock along the road. So we collect words, and I could do this on my own or together. Like with my friend, I could have a collection of words that we share. Or with my class, I could have a collection of words on a bulletin board or someplace on a Google Doc where we just save words we love from books or from things that we say or invented words that we find. And then when we write, another way we write and we can revise to pay attention to the word level of our writing. So is every word in this poem that I've written as specific or as wonderful sounding or as unusual or not unusual as I want it to be? Does it have the sound and the feel of what I wish for this poem? So we think about whole structures of our poems, of course, and where these ideas come from, but we also look at the very fine one word level of our writing. And there are many ways to approach poetry. None of them are right. None of them are wrong. But I'd like to thank you for joining me for this series. I welcome you to continue to visit me here at the Poem Farm. And I wish you all the best in your writing and all the very best in your life.